Welcome back to Mac Music Review. I'm your host, Mac, and today we're going to be looking at an album. Before I do, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. If you know how the channel works, all that good stuff is going to be down in the description, and that's about it. Today we are looking at the album Becoming Who We Are by Kaleidoscope. This album is kind of technically their major label debut, even though there is no major label to speak of. This was just kind of the album that was hailed as their debut album. This is the album that put them on the map, that made them really popular among underground Christian circles, that really, that really opened people's eyes to King's Kaleidoscope, and is right now, because they put their three projects before this album, Sin, Asaph's Arrows, and Joy Has Dawned, they put all of those under King's, and then MHM, some subset, they separated those songs from the King's Kaleidoscope name. So technically this is, like, if you look at King's Kaleidoscope right now on Amazon Music or Spotify, this is their album. This is their debut album. And, it's a proper debut album with 17 tracks. It's got 4 non-songs on it, 4 songs which are like interludes. Those non-songs includes Bloom, Redemption in Motion, Ache, and Sift. Everything besides that, everything outside of those songs are full-length songs. But this is a plenty long album, 13 full-length songs and, 4 interlude-type songs. So, plenty of music on this thing. In case you don't know, King's Kaleidoscope is like a 10-piece band. This band is ridiculous, or even more than that. This is a band that was like from Mars Hill Church, which is like some super mega church or whatever. And this was their band, and then they got together and made like an actual band and recorded music. They have some covers on here, like the cover of the song All Creatures, and then How Deep, like How Deep the Father's Love for Us, and then All Creatures Come and Sing, all those kind of songs, well-known hymns and psalms and stuff like that. But they also have plenty of originals on this thing. Most of this album is originals. And the music is extremely wide-ranging. The biggest thing in the music that's noticeable is how big and loud these songs are. Like, even the songs that start off really slow, like 139, or 139, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But it starts off really slow, and then even at the end, he's like yelling. And that's a big thing about this album, is it feels passionate. Like, that's really the thing that ties all these things together. Even when the vocals are not super energetic, they always feel passionate. They always feel like there's a lot of like the lead singer's pouring a lot of himself into what he's singing. Even if the lyrics are a little bit simplistic. He just feels like he's pouring himself into every word he's singing. Oftentimes getting really energetic and singing really loudly and energetically and all that kind of stuff. This album is hugely praised by basically anyone who's ever heard it, anyone who's ever talked about it. It's, in Christian circles and those circles that review like kind of obscure Christian music, this is kind of a legendary album, and it's really not hard to see why. And I'm gonna, at least for me, I'm gonna try to explain to you why this album is so great. First off, in terms of music, this is a really unique album. This is a 10-piece band. You're going to hear tons of horns. You're going to hear, like every kind of instrument you could possibly imagine. And it all comes together to create this kind of magical sound on a lot of these songs. The music is really energetic, and it's very varied throughout this album. The music on this thing is just consistently impressive. It's always doing new things and kind of blowing people away. Sometimes with being really energetic, like on I Know, which is one of the most bombastic, amazing songs to date, and Felix Culpa, which is this raw energy in the music. It's a rough, raw sounding song, kind of calling back to Confession from their album Sin, or all the songs, all that energy on that album. But even more so, it's somehow more energetic and just raw sounding. Songs like All Creatures had this magical, sparkly sound to them, which was, part electronic and part there's sounds on this album which you probably haven't heard anywhere else. These guys are just, The music on this thing is really original, it's really varied, and it's always very well done. The lyrical content on this album is extremely straightforward. The songs are extremely Christ-centered. They're extremely Christian, extremely explicitly Christian, and it turns out to not be a bad thing. Sometimes that can kind of wear you down when it's on a Hillsong United or some really popular Christian worship band, because you're like, oh, these songs are, even in church, you hear the songs and you go, yeah, this is really by the books. This is really, predictable and all that kind of stuff. But here, the difference between this is the way these songs are sung. And that's the other great thing about this album, is the lead singer of this band just pours himself into these words he's singing. And with this really original, creative, and very well executed music, and just these really passionate vocals, the lyrics actually are kind of great. And it's kind of great that the lyrics are so focused on faith, or so focused on Jesus, because it's like, it just feels real. It just feels passionate. It feels like he really cares what he's singing about. And if the lyrics tried to be like more mainstream and try to reference popular culture and reference more stuff and try to be, not super explicitly Christian, because you want to be kind of cool. You want to be cool with everybody. You don't want to just only appeal to the Christians. But I feel like this album does have appeal outside of just a Christian fan base, because of just how passionate the vocals are and how great the vocals are and how great the music is on this thing. So the lyrics are totally uncompromising, just very explicitly Christian, and really, really great. My only complaint with this album is, with so many songs, and it's kind of easy for songs to kind of be a little bit forgettable or kind of bleed together. And now I'm good. Every song, while these songs are on, every single song is either good or great. But a few of the songs can get lost from my memory, or can be hard to remember even shortly after hearing them. Those songs would be Glorious. For some reason, that one just doesn't stand out, especially when there are some that are so fantastic on this album. It makes the less fantastic songs just kind of get lost in the fray. And one of those is Glorious. Another one is Zion, which is just really slow. It's really, really slow, and it's really the only song on the album that's this slow, and it kind of bogs you down. It's definitely not a bad song, especially the lyrics on this thing, and the vocals are great, but it's just, musically, it's one of the, one of the worst songs on this album. Other song that doesn't really stick with me is Defender. That one, Defender and Fix My Eyes, are both really good songs, but are kind of not the most memorable or original songs in terms of music. Besides this, vocally and lyrically, this album is great all the way through. Musically, this album is oftentimes fantastic. Just some of the songs do kind of bleed together, which keeps me from giving this album a truly, flawless rating. But besides that, really, really fantastic. I'm going to give this album a 4.5 star rating out of 5. Really, really fantastic album. Thank you. Thank you for watching the video. It's been a long time since I've done... It's taking me forever to get through King's Kaleidoscope, man. And guess what? There's 3 more King's Kaleidoscope albums, or projects, I should say, because 2 of them are EPs, that I have to talk about. It's going to take forever to get through this. I'm doing this so slowly. I barely ever upload. I barely ever do these things, because I'm just lazy, and I have other things that I'm doing instead of doing this. I apologize. This is here now. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.